The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
And this portion of the show brought to you by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. That's TOA, the largest and most comprehensive orthopedic surgery group in Middle Tennessee. Find out more at TOA.com. And Omar Smith, our guest here, the head coach of the Smyrna Bulldogs. And snow didn't interrupt us this week, and I guess I should have said something about that. But I don't know that we've ever had a cancellation, but we did last week. That first time, yeah, we made history. But Omar, I want, before we talk about the game last night, because it was a crazy game. It's just weird. Absolutely. And I wasn't even at the game, but I'm telling you, it was weird. I know it was for you. Yeah. I had a win over Glencliff, lost to Cookeville, and to Stewart's Creek, correct?
Correct.
And so you're kind of I don't know. You're kind of is inconsistent the word maybe?
That's the perfect word to use, inconsistent.
Because you have quarters where you're just lights out, and then it disappears.
I can go all the way back to our second game of the season. We're playing CSAS, and we scored 30 points in the first quarter. We're up 30-12 maybe, and we end up winning that game 80-85.
Wow. So you're capable of putting points on the board. I've seen you guys play, and you're capable of putting points on the board. Last night in a game, you were up by 12 over who am I thinking? I've lost Stewart's Creek, and won at halftime, and then it just kind of fell apart for you in the second half.
The wheels completely fell off in the third quarter, and we got the wheels back on, but at that point, it was too late.
I guess I would be the coach of the year if I could figure out what causes that. But no, I don't think any coach has an answer to that when it truly falls apart and then they get it back.
I've been thinking about this. I had a conversation with my cousin last night, and I think our generation, this generation of teenagers, not just the athletes, but they're so very in the moment. And I think because of social media, so big picture, the goal at hand, what we're trying to do, sometimes that gets lost on them. And
good point. Yeah.
And so when things start to go bad, it's the sky's falling. The sky's not falling. Going into the locker room, we had a few guys arguing with each other, and I said, "Fellas, you're winning. You're winning. There's nothing to argue about." So, yes, you played a terrible 2 minutes to end the half, but you're still winning. And you could just see it in their faces. It was like we had just lost the state championship game and we were winning at halftime.
Yeah, those outside forces like that, I don't know what a coach does. I'm going to tell you, I think it's probably 3 times hard to coach now than it was maybe 10 years ago even, because of the outside obstacles and everything. I know that they do that little texting to each other too. That can sometimes be a problem.
And I think the frustrating thing for me, because they have, I remember being in high school and playing basketball, and you played, game was over with, and you went on. There was no game film. Coaches would exchange tapes, but we didn't see the tape.
Right.
Where these kids, game film, they have it on their phone the same time I get it. So they have access to it. And so, it's the same argument I have as a teacher. You have a resource in your hand that you don't use. Kids ask me stuff like, well, you have an iPhone, look it up. Google the answer,
Yeah.
And so it's the same with the players. You've got Huddle on your phone. Pull the film up and watch it.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that point about playing at the moment, you don't look at the big picture, what this game, you're in the game, you're up by 1, just come out and play your game.
Just play your game.
But when they don't, I know it's frustrating. And that's kind of happened to you some in the course of the year. Do you? I think you keep hoping that the consistent part's gonna come and a breakthrough there.
My wife tells me I'm an eternal optimist, so I'm always looking for the good, and I until it's over with, I'm gonna keep believing that they're going to figure it out. After the game, one of the things I asked, I said, what do you think Stewart's Creek did in the second quarter that they didn't do in the first? And one of the kids said they pressed. I said, fellas, they pressed the whole game, and we scored on the very first possession of the game on their press, and you just stopped doing what you did. So, just getting them to understand is being consistent and doing the same thing over and over and over again. If it's going to work, keep doing it.
Yeah. The district is it makes it different because we've got so few teams. It's kind of like it's do or die now. Boom. We're going to play like 2 weeks, 2 to 2.5 weeks, and the district's going to be the regular season race is going to be over. But I don't guess you can look at it that way though. I mean, you have to look at it from we've got to get better ourselves and not worry about the other guy.
Absolutely. I will continue to watch film and we'll talk about guys and we'll always do a game plan and a scout. But understanding it, they have to understand, one, there are no secrets in I can't speak for other counties, but in Rutherford County, there's no secrets. Mm-hmm. I can tell you, and we don't even play them again. I bet you Barry Workman probably has all my film already, and Michael Voss has all my film, and I have their film. And so there's no secret. So getting the guys to understand that you have to be disciplined and you have to do what you're coached to do over and over again and be the best at it. And when you do that, the talent will then take care of itself.
And plus, you add to the addition, they're talented. I mean, you're in a talented district.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of so and it's in the early stages. But like I said, it's kind of quick. I can't remember when it's been like boom. Here we are. It
is, but then also understanding that we still have to do this 8 more times.
Yeah.
So yes, we're 0-2 in the district right now, but it's not the end of the world. I made the prediction. I could be wrong, but it would not surprise me if the first place team in our district has at least 2 losses. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, could we go 8-2? I mean, we go 8-2, we win the district.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you. So, and that's going to be hard to do. I mean, I'm not worried about going 8-2. I'm worried about going 1-0 on Tuesday night. But just understanding that we still got our goals in front of us and we can get there.
Who do you have on Tuesday night?
So we host Lebanon Tuesday night.
Okay, another team that has kind of turned it around. They were young last year, but they're playing much better. Yeah. Your schedule's a nightmare anyway, but you got to be ready. And they probably play a little bit different style than what you just faced.
They do. They play a 3-2 zone, and they're going to run. Love Jim McDowell. We used to teach together. He's probably got a football playbook. He's probably got 80 sets that they're going to run all 80 of them, and having guys understand Stewart's Creek is just going to play basketball, and they're just going to get up and down the floor. Lebanon's not going to do that. The game's going to be a lot slower, and so
he wants to dictate what's played, right?
Right, and so we've got to be disciplined in the things that we're doing and not take bad shots and not speed ourselves up and get out of control.
Okay, I know you've talked about some of the guys. Let's mention a couple of them. I know you've got some really steady influences in there and that have really helped you. And they've got to almost be a coach on the floor too, some of these guys.
Mm-hmm. I think that's one thing that we're lacking. And, looking at some of our guys, you look at our leading scorer, Jan Kinser's in his 2nd year of varsity basketball. Tyreek McCarver's in his 3rd year. Zay Keese is in his 2nd year. Caden Matthews is his 2nd year. So we still have a lot of inexperience on the floor. Our starting 5, one kid has played more than 2 years of varsity basketball. And so we're still young in that aspect, but they've got to understand that's not an excuse, because if you're a junior or senior, you're going to have to figure it out and grow up quicker.
Omar Smith, our guest here on the Prentice-Law Superior Air Coaches Corner. You mentioned that, and that is so hard for a kid. And again, we go back to the way things are now. It's so much harder to me than it used to be.
We played sports outside. We played baseball, football in the street, and basketball in the backyard, and we did those things. And so the game just kind of made more sense to us. And I think for our kids, they don't play until they come to practice.
Right.
Or they'll go to a trainer for an hour, which is fine. I love trainers, but they're not getting that, just understanding the game and how does this game work. And our kids don't watch basketball on TV. I figured that out as well.
That's happened in the last 5-6 years, hasn't it? Just a decrease in watching it.
We were at a tournament last year and we had a long layoff and we had nothing to do. And I told the kids, hey, there's some basketball games on. Watch the games. And one of the kids, well, how do I watch it? I said, you turn the TV on and watch it.
I know you're a big fan. I know you watch basketball all kinds.
Constantly.
And you're a baseball guy too.
Love baseball. Yeah. Whatever sport is on, I'm watching it. Yeah. I watch the Braves. My wife gets frustrated because I watch. I probably watch 120 Braves games in the season.
I do too. I tape them. I tape them where I make sure if I'm going to miss it.
Call my dad and we talk about it. Yeah.
And I wish they'd do something, by the way.
Oh, my gosh. They're just sitting on their hands.
Oh, we could have a whole show, a half hour on that.
Bring Chad Caldwell on here. We have a whole round table about that one.
That's for sure. But it has changed. What can you do to kind of get your team, like, find that leader, find that guy that say when times are rough on the floor, they're going to go, okay, we got to get it, guys.
I think just keep pushing, keep watching film, showing the guys what they're doing wrong, praising guys who are doing things the right way, and I think eventually guys will start to fall in line.
And sometimes it has to come from them. I mean, It has to come from within, no matter – you could do all kinds of things. But I think you've got a couple of guys that could probably handle that.
I think so. And I think, like I said, I think it's going to happen. Well – it's going to be quick, and by the time I see you again, we're going to be in district tournament. Yep.
So, Omar, good luck the rest of the way, and good luck against Lebanon.
Thanks so much.
All right, that's Omar Smith, a fellow Braves fan. I can't complain now. I'm going to have him back, off basketball. This portion of the show brought to you by the law offices of John Day. They've helped thousands of people get the legal help they need when they needed it the most. If you've been injured, call the law offices of John Day. Up next, Barry Wortman, Blackman.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
If your old unit needs a tune-up, the professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air service all major brands and